Thank you. We're good now. Hi, everybody. This is Wendy Lovejoy again. We're starting all over because it said I had lost connection. So I wanted to make sure that you got all the information that we want to share today. This is the YellowLetterMentoring.com free live training. And this is geared for real estate investors. Today, we're talking about the power of scripts and dialogues. And this is good also for real estate agents. However, I have been in different industries and I have found what has helped me become very productive, even in multi-level marketing, was the power that comes from learning the scripts and dialogues. Hey, cuz, from the industry that I was in. So again, this is the power of scripts and dialogues. And for everybody that joins us, my name is Wendy Lovejoy. You know my story. I've been in real estate for a very long time, and I've been mentoring and coaching people for quite a while as well, from agents in my office to real estate investors in different parts of the states. And even as far as South Africa, I have people that I have mentored, and other countries as well. So I want to share with you that real estate investing becomes easier, or real estate period becomes easier, when you have understood the power of scripts. And I'm not going to be with you a very long time today, so if you missed the beginning, I ask you to watch it on based on your understanding of a script. And again, this works as well in multi-level marketing. So I'm doing this teaching because during the week I had a few people ask me about what to say, and I would text them, what they should answer and how they should answer. But we put a lot of emphasis on the Yellow Letter Mentoring training of the importance of scripts, because when I first started in real estate, one of the things that my broker at the time, Chuck McGill, had me do was master scripts and dialogues. He told me, if you study your scripts, hey, Rolinda, thank you for joining us again. We lost connection, so I had to start all over. But one of my mentors, when I first got started, told me the importance of scripts. And it really helps, again, whether you're in multi-level marketing, whether you are in real estate, even a nurse has scripts. And the importance of this is, one of my favorite actors is Denzel Washington. And they give him a script when he chooses a movie, and on that script, it creates the personality of the person and how he should portray the person. What I find with scripts is that they help you in so many different ways, but I'm going to share with you 5 bullet points of the power of scripts and dialogues. Number 1, they give you the right mindset. When you use a script or a dialogue, you then change from your own understanding of whatever it is you're trying to do. When I was with multi-level marketing, one of the questions I was asked is, how did you build such a huge organization when you did not know anything about multi-level marketing? And how do you get so many people on your team? And it's because I had a script, and I taught my teams how to go out and share those scripts. Every organization you start with has their own dialogue and scripts that you should master. So for real estate, if you want a listing, there's a certain dialogue you have to master. If you want to work with buyers, there's a certain dialogue you have to master. If you want to work with wholesalers, or, motivated sellers or other investors. Each one of them have a dialogue you need to master, because once you read the scripts over and over, they will change you from your own thinking to the thinking you need to have to be able to complete your business transaction. The second thing that I like about scripts and dialogues is when you practice a script or a dialogue, it will help you not to worry about what you should say next. And now you can focus on the person you're speaking with so that you can hear them to understand, instead of listening so you could react. So you're listening to respond when you don't have a script or a dialogue. You start worrying about, oh my God, what if they ask me this? What if they say that? A script or a dialogue will kind of direct the conversation, which is what you need when you start working with your real estate investors. You need to be able to direct the conversation. And again, even if you're in multi-level marketing, you've got to direct the conversation. And the person that asks the questions is really leading the conversation, because you're taking it to where it should go. So number 2, again, is that you will not worry about what you should say next. You'll be able to focus on the person you're communicating with so that you can respond to help them instead of react to kind of just answer the question real quickly. And another thing about not worrying about what to say is then you don't concern yourself with the empty space when they ask you a question or if they're not speaking. New people in real estate, they just keep answering or talking, but they don't have a direct place they're going. They sometimes talk too much, which a script will help you not to do that. The third thing about scripts is they make you look seasoned. They make you look like you have a lot of experience in the industry, because you're questioning and then you're looking for certain answers. So you're not looking for a reaction, you're looking to hold a conversation. And it will also make you look like an expert at what you're doing, because again, most seasoned top producers use scripts and dialogues. They don't wing it. They don't just run up to people and say, do you have a house you need to sell, or who do you know that just needs to sell, and then stop there. Scripts and dialogues are very, very important. And I think for any type of real estate, you want to master a seller's lead sheet. And a seller's lead sheet is usually going to ask you questions like the person's name, address, phone number, best contact information, their email address, the property address, why they want to sell, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what price are they looking for, how did they come up with the price. All of these are just common questions that a top producer will have mastered because they've practiced their scripts and dialogues so much. So don't sleep on the power of scripts and dialogues. Most people only go after them when they need them, but you really want to practice your scripts and dialogues before you sit in front of a seller or a buyer. When I'm training somebody that wants to focus on buyers, I let them know that the reason you may not be closing as many buyers is because you're not qualifying them correctly. And the reason you're not qualifying them correctly is because you're not using a script or a dialogue that's going to help you to pull the information from the buyer that makes them feel comfortable that you're there to help them. Another thing with your scripts and dialogues is they will increase your close ratio, because there's a system, there's a pattern, there's an end result that your scripts and dialogues will lead you to. And I always say, as a professional, whether you just started in real estate or you've been in the industry for years, but you've not closed the amount of deals you want, it's usually because you need to upgrade your scripts and dialogues, or you're not prospecting enough. You're not talking to enough people and driving the conversation to real estate. No matter where I am, I drive the conversation to real estate. But if I'm focusing on, I need to pray for this person, then my scripts and dialogue will be more about the ministry. So there's scripts and dialogues for everything. Even in ministry, there's a script to lead people to the Lord. There's a script to get people to choose, to behave differently. There's a script in anything, including a parent talking to a child. Certain scripts are going to get you better results if you will use them. So you will get more closed deals if you use your scripts and dialogues. Very, very important that you understand that. If you use scripts and dialogues, you'll have more closings because you're not caught up on what they're saying. And one of the things you want to understand about a script or a dialogue is after you answer their question, ask the next question. Because if you don't ask the question, they're going to lead the conversation and they may not end up at the destination you were after. So practice your scripts and dialogues. Read them straight through over and over and over. And I like to say verbatim, which means read your scripts over and over and over. And you will then have it, sink into you. And if it comes in, if you have it in your mind, when you hold a conversation, they'll just flow out of you. But if you never practice by yourself, your scripts and dialogues, just reading your seller lead sheet, reading your buyer qualification sheet, you're going to end up practicing in front of your prospects, whether it's a prospective motivated seller or a prospective buyer. You're going to end up practicing in front of them, and you don't want to practice then. I've never seen Michael Jordan practice while the game is on. They practice before, they practice after. The most famous ball players, they even go to camp to practice. They're taken away from their family members to go and practice. They have a season that they practice, so when they play the real season of basketball, football, baseball, whatever it is, they are more professional on the court. So your court as a real estate person is either when you're talking to a seller or when you're talking to a buyer. When you're talking to a buyer or a seller, that is the time that you don't want to have to practice your scripts. You want to know them because you've been repeating them over and over by yourself. Again, when I started in real estate, scripts and dialogues were the one thing that my broker told me to master. And then I started following Mike Ferry, and most people now know his son Tom Ferry. But when Mike started out, he would give us lots of scripts. And I remember the scripts that he gave us in the early 90s because I said them so much that they're in my spirit. So when I'm talking to a total stranger, I can say, hi, my name is Wendy Lovejoy. I am with, Yellow Letter Mentoring. And I was just calling to see if you or anybody you know is thinking of buying or selling a house. And then I wait for an answer. And if they say no, then I say, well, if you were to sell, when would that be? But if they said, yes, I'm thinking of selling, then if you are to sell, where would you go? So the scripts answer the question, and then you ask a question to get the answer you're looking for. Because I had so much practice of scripts and dialogues when I was in real estate, and I trained my team, whenever I started a new area, new territory, the first thing I do is I go in that area and I find the first 500 homes or a subdivision I want to focus on, and I put on a professional outfit and I go knock on their doors with the business card. I usually take somebody with me because it's not safe in this day and age, but to get the fastest results, you want to knock on somebody's door, step back, and practice your scripts on them. And if I were going to knock on their door, I would say something like, hi, my name is Wendy Lovejoy. I'm with the YellowLetterMentoring.com. I'm the expert real estate person in your area, and we are looking for a home. We have a family that's looking for a home. I do this even with my yellow letters, even with when I'm looking for a property for an investor, I will knock on the door and I will say the investor's first name. I have a family or I have a person that is looking to buy a property in this area. The person I'm working with, his name is Anthony, and he really wants to be in this area. And I just wanted to know, do you know anybody that might be selling? Could you help me figure out who in this area I could help get them a buyer? And this way you're helping me to help them, and you're also helping yourself by, us helping to choose your neighbor. Most people want to help, and that is a script. You have to practice your scripts exactly as you get them from whoever is your mentor or your coach. And then once you get those scripts into your spirit, hey, Tamerlene, you will then be able to repeat them. But in the beginning, you want to repeat them verbatim, which is word for word. And they may not make sense to you in the very beginning. They may not even feel comfortable to you. But if you do not practice your scripts and dialogues, you're going to lose a lot of money. And again, one of the reasons I had so much success in multi-level marketing when I was with the company 5 Links was because I had practiced scripts and dialogues in real estate. So when I came to 5 Links and they sent me my handbook, I was able to open up my handbook and I was able to go in what they call your back office and find the scripts of what I should say to get people to show up to the meeting, to get people, interested in whatever product we were selling. It was a script. But in real estate, scripts work even better. So you have to practice your scripts. And once you get them in your spirit, you'll be able to have those conversations anywhere and you'll be able to direct them. If somebody walks up to me now and they said anything about real estate, I have a script already inside of me that will come spitting right out. But when I first got started, I got, really tripped up a lot because I didn't have any scripts. And as I think I've told you guys this story before. I remember when I got into real estate, my first listing presentation, I had been farming this area. So every single month they got a postcard from me because ERA sent it out automatically. And so they got a postcard from me, and then some people would call me. But because the postcards were so blanket, they weren't really driving them to me. So when I teach people that are working on a specific area, the people that are in the Yellow Letter Mentoring Program, when they pick an area, we teach them how to farm and speak to people in those areas to get the leads they're looking for, especially the real estate agents, because we have a mentoring program for real estate agents and a separate one for wholesalers. But both of them need to master scripts. And so I lost some deals in the beginning because I didn't know what to say when people approached me, even though I had been sending them this postcard every single month. Sometimes it took 5 months before people called me. And when they called me, I just knew it was a shoo-in. I said, oh, I got a listing coming. And so I would go to the person's house ready to take the listing. Hey, Vanessa. And I would be ready to take the listing. So I would have my listing binder. I would have all the information about ERA because that's who I was with. Then I would have information about ERA McGill because that was my broker's office. So those are scripts right there. Whatever you were doing, you first talk about the person that's had more success than you. Then you talk about your broker. Then you talk about maybe the production your office has done, and then you talk about yourself. If you're an investor, you talk about what's going on in the neighborhood, but then you find some success story you may have or somebody you working with has, and then you share that, and then you begin to question them. If you were to sell, like, where would you go? Is the house occupied? Is the house vacant? What's making you think of selling right now? These are questions you've got to keep inside of you, and so they have to come out automatically when you have conversations. So one of the things I tell people when you're practicing scripts is to practice scripts that are 10-minute long, and then cut it down to 5 minutes, then cut it down to 1 minute, sort of like your 30-second commercial. Hi, my name is Wendy Lovejoy. I'm with the YellowLetterMentoring.com. I help real estate investors and agents get more motivated sellers to work with them. And when they solve the issues of the motivated seller, it helps them to have more closings, and when they have more closings, they can have a better quality of life. Now, I did that in like no time, but I can stretch that out to 5 minutes. Then I can stretch it out to 10 minutes. One of the things that happened when I was with 5 Links, because I had so much success, one of the things that my upline at that time, Lisa Cloud, asked me is, how do you pack out the room like this for your pastor's events? And I said, well, I have my team and we go peaking. And, she said, well, like, what do you think we could help to get more people to have the success you're having? I said, well, one of the things I found is that most people don't know what to say and how to say it. And I know exactly what to say, and that's why people were signing up. So then her and I, she said, well, would you like to do a CD with me, and let's, have the information so we could share what it is that you say and share what it is that I say, and then we can have people have more success. And that's how we came up with the CD that sold in 5 Links that's called, Conversations with the Platinum, Dialogues that Deliver, because I believe in scripts and dialogues. And so I believe in them because, again, when I started in real estate, after learning how to market to get business, which was postcards, the same thing with Yellow Letter. You send those out, or you send out postcards. But if you send them out and people respond, but you don't know what to say, you're going to lose a lot of business. Or if you are a listing or a licensed agent and you don't know what to say, you're going to lose a lot of business. And so for me, when I sat in front of the person's house, it wasn't a shoo-in because they called me, because when I got to their home, I was dressed very professionally. I thought, I didn't have to know what to say because they called me and they said, yes, we want to list with you. When I got to their home, they said to me, we have so many ERA agents sending us the same postcard. Yours has been coming longer than other people, but why should we list with you? What makes you different? So one of the things I tell people, whether you're an investor, a real estate agent, a pastor, whatever you are, you have to write down the things that makes you different. When I was in multi-level marketing, I would train my team to have more than one answer when people said, is this a scam? Is this, is this really real? For real estate investors, you've got to have answers for people who think that real estate investors, we just want all the money for ourselves and we don't want to help them. Now, you can't please everybody, but you can get more wins when you have scripts and dialogues. So again, number 4, they make you look number 3, they make you look more professional. And number 4, you will increase your close ratio. I mentioned before that I've never seen Michael Jordan wait till a game starts to start practicing. They spend more time practicing when you're in a season. I remember I was pretty cool friends with Deshawn Snow, and her husband at the time was Eric Snow. They're not married anymore, and I haven't spoken to her in years. But when we were pretty cool, she would say, my husband is out of town. He's away training. And they would train for blocks of time to play games for a couple of hours. But they put in weeks and months of practice. Real estate investors, you've got to understand that people lead you to believe that real estate investing is easy. And so hundreds and thousands of people are getting into this on a daily basis, but hundreds of thousands are failing on a daily basis. They're failing when people, don't work with them immediately, or when people call them and they don't know what to say, or they don't get the listing right away. And you don't want to be the ones that do that. You want to have success. And the way to kind of ensure you being a little bit more successful than most people is to practice your scripts. So I have on the Yellow Letter Mentoring Facebook page, if you go to our album, you can download a seller script and just practice it. Because the more you practice that script, the more you will be able to interview the sellers to see how motivated they are. And if you want to learn even more, then I would encourage you to buy the success scripts, either the ebook or the regular book that's going to be, signed and mailed to you. But the ebook you can download. And we have, like I said, different versions. So make sure you say if you're an agent or an investor, because the agent one, we focus more on expireds, FSBOs, and your center of influence. With the Yellow Letter Investor one, we focus more on how to find motivated sellers with vacant properties and the things that are going to get you the quicker deals. Okay, so you will increase your closed ratio. Number 5, the power of these scripts is that the person who gave you the scripts has perfected them. So you want to practice them verbatim. As I mentioned before, when Mike Ferry first taught me a script, I had, he had CDs that we could buy back then. And so I would listen to the script and write it out myself, and listen to it and write it out. And then I made myself postcards with the script, and I would carry the script all over the place with me. And when I would speak to people, when I was cold calling, I had the script in front of me and I would just plug in their answers. So it made me sound professional. And I always say it's like going to a doctor. Before you can see the doctor, he has somebody offer you a script. The first thing they ask you is, have you been to this doctor before? Have you been to this hospital before? And if you say no, then they say, fill this out. That is a script. They're asking you your name, your address, what kind of illnesses are hereditary, what kind of situations you've experienced in the past. Do you get headaches? Have you had stomach aches? What kind of flu you might have had in the past? They ask you all these questions. Then after you fill that out, you go and sit in the doctor's office, and then either the doctor or the assistant comes back and asks you the same questions you already answered. And this way now they know how they can give you a, the right prescription so that you can have better results. Scripts and dialogues will do the same for you. If you have a script and a dialogue from somebody who's an expert, they've already figured out what to ask people, how to ask people, why to say what you're saying. Your job is to embrace those scripts and read them word for word. Don't assume that they're either too short or too long, or you don't like the way something is phrased, because remember, the mind that has you making the money you're making is not the mind that's going to take you to the next level. A higher mind has to take you to the next level. And that's usually a mentor or an investor. They can, a mentor or a coach. They can look at you and tell you the things you're doing wrong. When I was in multi-level marketing, my uplines could say to me, this is why you're experiencing what you're experiencing. And then I became an expert because I did so many meetings and so many one-on-ones practicing my scripts and asking people these questions. They even gave us a script for a presentation. This is what you say. This is how you say it. This is the first slide you show. You ask people their why. If they made a lot of money, where would they take their money? Where would they spend their money? Would they spend it, on health reasons? Would they vacation more? Would they quit their job? That is a script, but it's showing you the person's motivation so you know how to help them in solving their issues. Now that made sense to me because we did that in real estate. And so now that I've come back to real estate, I've that's what I train my people. Again, even the people I'm mentoring, start with your own why. And so when you go into a seller's house or, a tenant's house, you're going to find out their motivation by asking them questions and not dictating to them what you feel they should do. So again, the power of scripts and dialogues is number one, they will give you the right mindset. Number two, you don't have to worry about what to say when the person you're holding a conversation with is speaking. You're like worried about, okay, how am I going to answer them? A script will give you the answers and the next question to ask, so you're always leading the conversation. Number three, they will make you look very seasoned in the industry, even though you got started today. Even if you've been in the industry for 5 years and never closed a deal. To me, you cannot call yourself a real estate investor if you're not making money from, real estate investments. You can't call yourself as an agent if you're not making money from listings or buyers. You have the license and you may be practicing the art of it, but until you have a closing, you're not really doing what you say you're doing. Number three, success scripts or any scripts that are for the industry you're in, they will allow you to look like an expert or a seasoned professional.